Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I wanted to do a beginner-friendly eyeshadow and give you some tips and tricks on how I learned how to do makeup when I first started. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my videos. Anything I use will be listed down in the description box below. If you'd like to see how I do this, then keep on watching. Because I'm doing a beginner-friendly eyeshadow, I'm going to be sticking to one palette. I just feel like when I started doing makeup, I only had like 1 or 2 palettes. So I wasn't able to just switch between and like pick colors at random that I thought would go good with a look. And I feel like also sticking with one palette, you're probably guaranteed that all of those shades that you're choosing will go well together. So even if you're not really for sure what the finished product is going to look like, the colors will probably go well together because of the way they made the palette. So I'm going to be sticking to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Carli Bybel palette, and I will show you the colors I'm going to be using. A good beginner-friendly tip is to use tape. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're really good at makeup, and I don't care if you are a beginner at makeup. Tape is going to be your best friend. It just helps you from having to clean up any messes, and it really gives you a good, which I already have eyeliner on, but it gives you a good clean line, and you won't have to worry about trying to fix it and making sure it's straight. It's just a good tool to use no matter where you are at makeup. To place the tape, just go by your bottom lash line and just go at that angle and go towards your eyebrow, and that's going to help match your eye shape. The first shade I'm going to be using is called Bybel, and I'm using a 433 brush. So I am doing a basic smoky eye. I feel like when I started doing makeup, this is kind of what I stuck to. It was very comfortable for me, and like it was just easy, and it kind of taught you how to blend eyeshadows together, and just gives you the basic techniques of just applying eyeshadow and how to apply eyeshadow. I know everybody's different, so this is just how I started, and I'm just going to be giving you my opinion on what I think made it easy for me to learn. I usually start, if I'm doing a smoky eye like this, I usually start with the intermediate shades. So usually you'll go with like 3 like basic shades, maybe 4. I'm using 4 today because I'm using a shimmer, but you usually do like 3 to 4 shades, and I start with the intermediate shade. So like you usually have a dark shade, a middle shade, and then like the lightest shade. So this is going to be the second lightest shade. And when I apply eyeshadow, I usually like to have it kind of winged out. So I'm going up almost to my eyebrow, but not yet. I'm leaving some space, and then I'm kind of tapering in to the point of my eye because I don't want to put too much eyeshadow up in here. And I'm using that tape to apply the eyeshadow all the way out. And the type of brush I'm using helps me apply the eyeshadow how I want to. You probably won't be able to see it, but this is like a flat tapered brush. So it's not a complete circle, it's like flat but still fluffy. The flat part of the eyeshadow helps me to apply at the angle that I'm wanting to apply it, and then the fluffiness of the brush is helping me blend everything out. Because I'm wanting to darken out that outer third, I'm taking a smaller blending brush. This doesn't have a number, so I'm sorry, it's just a small blending brush. And I'm going into the shade Boie. I'm not really for sure how to say it, but I think it's Boie. And I'm just using this on the outer third of my eye, and I'm not really bringing it as high as I brought the intermediate shade. This is just going to darken that intermediate shade just a little bit. And then I'm using the blending part of this brush to blend everything out and blend it all together. If you're not really for sure how dark you want your eyeshadow to be, just start off slowly and you can always build up. So usually what I do, because a lot of palettes have fallout, usually tap off the brush on the palette, and then whatever's left over I use that to brush on and then blend it out, and then just keep doing that until you get the desired color that you want. Then I like to go back in with that intermediate shade again, and I'm also tapping off this because I'm not really wanting a lot, and I'm just going on top of that dark shade and putting that color back in and blending it out. And I just think this adds the color back that I originally wanted, because that dark shade was more of a brown and this is more of a plum shade. And I want that purple, I don't want the brown. So I'm going back in to darken that purple up a little bit more, and I just feel like this helps blend everything in a bit more. Then for my lightest shade, I'm going to be using the shade Cindy, and I'm going to be putting this on my inner corner with a flat brush. And the reason I'm using a flat brush is because I have a tendency to blend up too high on my inner corner with bigger brushes, so I'm using a flat brush to make sure I'm applying this shade where I want to. And then I'm slowly building that in and blending it out towards the middle of my eyelid. The reason I'm using this shade is to make like a good background for the shimmer I'm going to put on, because I feel like underneath of the shimmer this color comes through really well, and I think it looks really pretty with the purple, and it just gives that shimmer something to sit on as well. The shimmer I'm going to be using is called Mandala, and I'm using my finger. I just feel like shimmer eyeshadows go on a bit easier with my finger. If you think it goes on a bit better with the brush, feel free to put it on with a brush, because a brush is going to be a little bit more accurate than your finger. I just like using my finger just because I think it goes on a bit better. I know lots of people do it a bit different. So this one is really just up to you. Now I'm going to be putting that in the inner corner and kind of blending it out towards the middle with my finger. And I'm not trying to blend this up too much. That's part of the reason why I put that Cindy shade on there, is so I don't have to bring this too high and it still kind of has like some color to it. Because this shimmer is a little lighter than some shimmers I use, I do like to put a couple layers of this just to make sure it's seen. Using a clean blending brush, this does not have a number, but it's similar to that flat brush I was using, but it's just a complete circle. So it still has the blending ability like the flat brush, but it's more of a circle. And I'm just going to use this to blend everything out. And it has no new product on it. I'm just blending what's already there. And when I blend, I'm going in circular motions. Depending on what kind of look you're doing, you'll do windshield wiper motions or circular motions. This one I'm doing circular motions just because I want to blend out that top part of the eyeshadow so it's not so solid up here. I want it to kind of blend into my skin on the top. Going back in with that 433 brush, I'm going to pick up that Bybel shade again and just kind of blend this outer part in and blend this purple into that shimmer shade. This brush, I'm using more of a windshield wiper motion because I'm trying to blend it together with another eyeshadow. Then lastly, I'm just going to go back in with that shimmer again just to put that color back in after blending everything out. And this is just going to make sure that that shimmer stands out. Now that the tape is off, I am going to clean up underneath of my eye. This is why I do my base after my eyeshadow, just because I can clean up any fallout or anything that I might have placed underneath of the tape or underneath what I would like to be doing. And I just like the ability to be able to clean up underneath of what I'm doing. I'm going to be using a liquid eyeliner. This is going to be the NYX Epic Ink Liner. This is a felt tip liner. I think these are a lot easier to use. I know a lot of people like to use the e.l.f. liner. I'm not really a big fan of the e.l.f. liner just because like I feel like it goes on a bit quicker than I'm able to. I am not the best at eyeliner. But I do like the felt tip because you have a little bit more control with how much liquid liner is going on. So this is what I like to use. I know other people recommend the e.l.f. liner. I don't like that one just because I think it's harder to use. It's really gonna be up to what you think is easiest to use. They think it's easier to use because it applies the liner really quickly and you don't have to sit there and try to work with the liner to apply it. I don't feel like that's helpful to me. So I like using the felt tip because it gives me a little bit more time to work with the liner. I don't like doing eyeliner on camera just because it's really hard. So I'm gonna do my best to explain how I do liner and hopefully I can get it on camera and help you out. If not, I'll just explain what I did. So I usually take the liner and go right on my lash line and create this line first. I start off with a thin line and then I kind of thicken it as I go. So I usually like a really thin inner line and then thickening it as the liner goes out. When it comes to making the actual wing, I do have a little bit deeper set eyes, so I do have a small hood. So I have to work with that. If you don't have a hood, I am jealous of you. But if you do have a hood, you can work with it, and make sure you relax your eyebrows and look straight at the mirror and go by the natural line of your lower lash line and up to your eyebrow. I usually aim for the bottom part of my eyebrow and go with that water line. You can do it a bit different on however you prefer. Now I usually start off with a small wing first, and then I go in from the tip of it straight in. Then I make it longer after I've made the initial wing shape, and then that just gives me the shape of the wing I want. I have the hardest part at making them match. I always tend to make one thicker than the other. I think I did a decent job at making them match. I hope they match on camera as well as I think they do. So I hope that helps you place a basic wing. If not, I'm sorry, I suck at wing liner. Then, because I felt like the makeup look needs a little bit more to it, I'm going to use one of these little gems that I have. They're silver, and that's what I did here. I'm going to do that on the other side. I feel like this kind of just spices up the look a little bit more. To stick this on, I'm using a little bit of lash glue, and I'm just going to let it get tacky. And then I'm going to just try to match it up with where I placed this one at. I'm just going to press it down with the back of the tweezers just to make sure it's stuck on there. The last time I did this, my gems stayed on all day. The only time one almost fell off was because I almost scratched it off because I forgot they were there, and it was tickling me, so I scratched my eye and I almost scraped it off, but I was able to stick it back on. So using this lash glue the way I have, I mean, it does pretty good at sticking it. I say that as I literally pull it off. Now that the eyeshadow is done, I'm going to go and do my base off camera. If you're curious how I do my base, I do it in other videos. I just don't do it in every video because I do it the same way every time, and I just feel like it gets repetitive if I do it in every video. So if you're curious how I do my base, just go check out my channel. I do have other videos on it where I do it for you, but in this one I'm not going to because I'm focusing more on eyeshadow, so I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. I've already finished this eye, so I'm going to show you what I did here on this one. For my lower lash line, I always like to take the mirror and put it up above my head so I can just look up. So that's how I do my under eye makeup. So I'm going to take the shade Bybel with a 562 brush and just look up to that mirror and brush that underneath of my waterline. And then I'm just connecting it up to the upper makeup, and I'm just kind of blending that out. And I'm not going to do a lot for the under eye just because I don't think it really needs a lot of stuff underneath of this look. For the highlight, I'm going to use the shade Boli, and I'm going to use my finger to put that right in the corner of my eye. I'm also going to take that Boli shade and put that on my brow bone. Off camera, I'm going to do my waterline and mascara just because I can't do it on camera. For my waterline, I use the Kylie Cosmetics lip liner in the shade True Brown K, and for mascara, I use the Mascara by Benefit They're Real. For highlighter, I'm going to go in with the 510 brush into that Boli shade, and I'm just going to put that on my cheekbones and everywhere that I put highlighter. I like using shades from palettes if they have them as a highlighter, because again, when it comes to using stuff from one palette, you can almost guarantee that they're going to match pretty well. So this Boli shade is going to go along with the eyeshadow really well. Also forget how pigmented this is, and I'm only using a little bit. For my nose highlight, I'm going to use the same Boli shade with a 213 brush, and I'm going to put my highlighter on the bridge of my nose and then blending it out with my finger. Now that that's done, before I do my lipstick, I'm going to set this with the Dewy Coconut Setting Mist by e.l.f. For lip liner, I'm going to use the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Soft Spoken. And I'm just going to fill in the outer corners. Because I want the lips to kind of have like a purple glitteriness to it, I'm going to use this Morphe lip topper in this shade Hypnotize. This is like super pigmented, so I'm going to put it on my finger and just kind of dab it on my lip. And I'm just putting this in the center. So that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I like hearing y'all's feedback, so please comment down below with anything you'd like to tell me or any future videos you'd like to see. Until next time, bye.